Hi, this is Graham Maxwell, and you're listening to The Four Corners, the official podcast of No Counters, No Combos.
What is up, Square Nation? Welcome back to the Four Corners podcast. And today, my buddy, my friend, my teammate, the runner-up at the Atlantic City ARG Invitational 2019, Mr. Graham Maxwell, ladies and gentlemen. How are you tonight, sir?
What is up, Square Nation? I'm Graham Maxwell. I'm doing pretty well this night. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for that very energetic, over-the-top, enthusiastic intro. I really do appreciate it, especially the "What is up, Square Nation?" That always gets me every time you say it. But
well, you know, this is just super important to me because you know the event is fresh on everyone's minds. Yeah. It's not like 3 weeks later or anything. It's perfect time to talk about it.
So yeah, to address that, we are a little behind the eight ball here, but there was a couple moving pieces. I went on vacation literally right after the event, and then when I came back, it was just trying to get my feet set and everything back into moving pieces or whatnot. So for those of you listening, this is a little long overdue, but I kind of want to just have Graham on here so we could just have a quick conversation about what led up to everything, what was his thought process behind everything, and, his history with the game. So the first thing I want to ask you is, we've known each other for a few months now, ever since we started playing at Level 1 Games. Shout out to David and Level 1 Games, of course. But I know you have a history with card games. Most people who play Dragon Ball do. What led you to playing Dragon Ball Super in the beginning?
Well, that's a pretty long story. So I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I am scum, and that led me to playing a bunch of side card games. And so I'm playing in a locals at a different store, not Level 1 Games, and they are showcasing Dragon Ball that night, and I ended up playing 2 locals in one night.
Wow. And
I actually topped that locals playing. It was set 1 Gohan Broly, the tap 6 to nuke your opponent's board.
Yes, the good old days.
And that literally the first set had just dropped, and I didn't know what that card game did, but it was I had fun. And then later I bought basically my life savings worth of cards.
So you had fun playing the game. That's the most important thing, right? So you did come from Yu-Gi-Oh! I did come from Yu-Gi-Oh! As well. Do you feel like you made the right decision transitioning over to Dragon Ball, or do you still miss playing Yu-Gi-Oh?
I don't have fun playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In fact, I really just hate Yu-Gi-Oh! But, I probably deserve Yu-Gi-Oh! I should go back to playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Dragon Ball's too fun.
So I remember the first time Brian and I walked into Level 1 Games. You were sitting in the corner in the back of the store, and you were playing some type of Shenron Boo, but like a bad Shenron Boo. And I remember jokingly having a conversation with, I forgot if it was you and David or Ben and David, about how everything changed once it started getting more serious at Level 1. Like, I remember coming to Level 1 in the beginning, and everybody kind of played these kind of mediocre decks, and nobody really knew what was going on. But after a while of people consistently showing up, and it being the fastest growing Dragon Ball Super community in New Jersey, I felt like everybody...
You're talking about Game On, right?
No, I'm talking about Level 1. I'm talking about Level 1. Everybody kind of stepped everything up, and to the point where one day I kind of showed up, and I remember Matt Waters had like a competitive Kid Ku deck built. Do you feel like when you started playing Dragon Ball at Level 1 exclusively, was that really just for fun? You were just playing the game? You had no intentions of being competitive in it? Like, when did you make the transition to being just a casual into a competitor?
I mean, Level 1 really wasn't the store for that. Like, as far as, I was already going to big events, and I had topped in Atlantic City before that. But Level 1 was just kind of that store where we played the big BS. Like, I was the player with the most event experience, and I had been to, I think 3 events, 3 regionals, in the entirety of Dragon Ball at that time. So everyone was just playing goon squad decks.
I mean, I guess that's okay because everybody has to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But, now I think it's pretty consistent to where we're getting like 12 people on a weekly basis, and it's really not a shoo-in. Some people come in, some people win weeks, others win different weeks. We've gotten even upwards of 20-something people at level 1, which is good for competition. I mean, there's still a couple people that come in and they don't really play like these uber competitive decks, but the spirit is behind it still. And I've gotten comfortable playing at level 1, and it's probably my favorite local to go to, just because I get to see everybody on a weekly basis. Obviously, Computer and Gaming Universe, shout out to them. That's like my home store. But I'm glad that we decided to go to level 1 just randomly on a Tuesday night, and it's kind of flourished and become this really fun place to go to. And then obviously you meet everybody else, and we have a lot more in common than just Dragon Ball. I mean, we play other games besides Dragon Ball and stuff like that, and it just kind of like developed and became a lot more fun than I originally intended. So your first major event, was that the Atlantic City event that was in the winter of last year, or was that last summer's ARG event that was like in June during like Tournament of Power format?
Nah.
So what was your first event?
It was set 2. Right before yeah.
Right before set 2 was your first regional event?
Oh, set 2 had just dropped.
Set 2 had just... So what location were they having? Because I was playing at that point, but I wasn't really playing so much in like the competitive scene, and I wasn't really aware of the larger tournaments going on. I was just kind of playing on a local level. But at that time, was it still like Atlantic City? Was it Philly?
Hartford,
Connecticut.
Hartford.
And how did you do at that event?
I was playing Godramp Beers, and that's all you need. That's all you need to know, and that's all I'm going to say.
That's the one where you have to?
Oh, don't ask. Stop.
Okay, I guess we'll have a conversation at a different time about that. So to kind of like rein it in a little bit. We've been playing now for a few months. I guess more competitively than in the beginning, the game has been growing. There's been a lot of controversy in the community about certain things, card design, TOs dropping off the face of the earth, etc., things that we're not going to get into because I want to learn more about you. I mean, that's what that's what this is about, right?
You got to do a quick shout out to ARG Invitational.
ARG Invitational. I mean, I don't know anything about that game. I mean, I you know what? I give them props for running with something that they're passionate about. I mean, I would never like say no, that's the wrong decision. Like if they're really behind it and they really think it's that's what they want to do, then all the more power to them. But I don't think I would have completely just dropped everything else and just been like, okay, Argent Saga or bust. That's just my opinion. I mean, again, I wish them all the best of luck. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with PPG and like the takeover essentially, and to see if another TO is going to come up out of nowhere. But for right now, I guess PPG is our only East Coast tournament organizer for Dragon Ball Super. I know Core TCG is on the West Coast, but I'm not sure if anything else is going to come up from that. But since we're talking about tournament organizers and stuff like that. Have you actually been to a PPG event, or have you only been to ARG events?
We went to Atlantic City. There was another one. Yeah.
That was
That
was the first event in the Pro Play Tour, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was during Hercule format, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
It wasn't?
It was Janemba Shenron Gogeta.
Oh, Janemba Shenron Gogeta. Okay.
You fool.
Dude, there's been like 3 different events in Atlantic City. I've only gone to 2 of them, so there's one in between that I didn't go to. So since you've been to both...
defend yourself.
Yeah, since you've been to both, any types of differences between ARG and PPG as far as TOs are concerned, or they're just pretty much running on the same, infrastructure?
I mean,
same.
PPG was certainly less organized, but it was their first one, so I mean, yeah. ARG was much more seasoned when it comes to running events, and the only experience I've had with a PPG event, it was their first one.
That makes sense. I mean, and it's good to know that, moving forward, PPG has had a lot more events since then, and they've had a lot more success, and everybody in the community seems to be happy with what PPG has been doing as far as being running these events. Now, recently the most popular topic of discussion besides ARG bidding farewell to Dragon Ball has been the conversation in the community about pricing and the structure of pricing. Now, you did take second place at the ARG Invitational, and you were able to.
Did I?
Yeah, you did. You were the runner-up from the ARG Invitational.
I didn't know that.
I mean, you wouldn't know by what you played yesterday at level 1, but that's a different conversation.
We don't talk about that.
So the fact that you got second, you got decent pricing. Do you feel like the pricing could be better, or do you feel like it's right where it needs to be for the type of game that we're playing?
Do people have a problem with the pricing again? Is it just that it's not real money?
I think the biggest
honestly,
I think the biggest concern.
I don't really pay attention to anything.
Yeah, I mean that's fine too. I mean, I think the biggest concern in the community is that certain people or certain players feel like they're investing too much time and money into a game that there's no return on. So I feel like their biggest concern is that okay, they're investing X, and then they're also expecting a return of X, which is. In my opinion, it's the wrong way to look at it because this is just a hobby, right? We do this for fun, and you're never going to really, quote unquote, plus off of a hobby. So I just kind of, since you did do very well and you did, you were able to get some pricing, I just wanted to kind of get your opinion on it, to see if it's moving in the right direction or if you feel like it could be a little better.
I mean, I only play this for a hobby, so getting anything back from that is nice for me.
Right. I mean, and you know what? We have the same mentality, which is probably why it's so strange to us why this is even a thing. But for some people, this is more than just a game, right? So I can understand both sides of the coin, but I think at the end of the day, if you're planning on getting something out of a hobby that's more than you would normally get out of it, you're going to be extremely disappointed. So again, I'm glad that you did very well, and I'm glad that you're part of our extended family here, and our team and stuff like that. And I'm glad that we were able to kind of play test and theory craft and do some stuff to get you to where you got. I mean, again, you played your ass off, and we're super proud of you. But do you feel like going into the event, you had enough preparation against the Victory Strike matchup? Or do you feel like you could have had a little more testing against it?
Oh, funny story. I actually barely played against it. Shoutouts to Kevin for that. Thanks, teammate.
You didn't see any Victory Strike decks during Swiss at all?
Oh. Just Anthony Hernandez. Shoutouts to Anthony Hernandez. You're the reason I drink. That sounded meaner than I meant. Don't worry, Hernandez. I love you.
So with that being said, the fact that you only saw Victory Strike in your last round of Swiss and in the finals, do you feel like you were prepared for the matchup enough, or do you feel like you would have preferred seeing it more to get yourself? I mean, obviously, hindsight's 20/20, right? So if you probably would have seen it more in the event, there's a possibility you might not have finished as well as you did. But when you did go up against Anthony Hernandez in Swiss, basically those interactions that you had with him in Swiss, did you learn anything new that you were going to apply towards the top 8 or the top 16 cut going up against him in the finals, or was it just like the same cut and dry type of thing?
It was kind of the same. I didn't really have a game plan going into that matchup, and I definitely should have. Mm-hmm. But by that point, I was already guaranteed top because I went undefeated, so I was like, I don't really care.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, not so much when it comes to Swiss, but obviously you performed very well again in top 16. If you wouldn't mind, if correct me if I'm wrong, your matchups were Trader Dende, Skillless, and then Victory Strike, right?
Yes.
And you played against Danny Hype, Dehan, Joey Palladino, and then Anthony Hernandez in the finals.
Yes.
So these are all, premier players. They're very well known in the community. They're good at what they do. Did you ever feel like, I don't know what I don't think the right word is starstruck. Did you ever feel intimidated by who you were playing against in that situation? Like, I know you on a personal level. For those people that are listening, they probably might not know you as well as I do, but you're a little bit of a nervous dude. I mean, you're always talking about how your hands get super sweaty and you don't want to shake anybody's hand after a game. So I just kind of wanted to peek into your thought process when you're in that position, top 16, then top 8, then top 4, then obviously the finals. Was it getting to you at all, or did you feel comfortable in what you were doing and confident in what you were doing?
Oh. I don't really feel like it affects my playstyle. It's kind of just like a body natural reaction, because like they were all cool dudes, and remember when I said I don't pay attention? Mm-hmm. I didn't really know any of them or their names. It's just I don't. Yeah.
So you're literally 100%. You're just playing this game for fun. You don't really pay attention too much to what goes on in the community. You don't really pay attention to the Facebook stuff. I mean, I barely see you on Facebook anyway as it is. So you're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants, if you will. Did I lose you?
Way.
Yeah.
And listen, the guys weren't like bad dudes. They were cool dudes. I'd have a beer with those dudes. Those dudes are cool. Pretty cool dudes.
So now moving forward, right? ARG's done. Ban list is revealed. We know what's coming off and what's going on the list on the 26th here. So now moving forward, obviously, you're playing a Shenron Gogeta variant that did include yellow. Your bad rings are gone, stuff like that. Moving forward, are you adapting to the new meta now? Obviously, you have to, but is it something where you're just, tweaking the build to make it more for the new meta, or are you just trying to play something completely different?
I'm gonna play what I like to play, and that's just kind of how it is. There's really, so when it comes to Shenron Gogeta, I pretty much just threw that deck together on a whim to begin with. Mm-hmm. I didn't really have a plan. Except like when I started playtesting it and, tweaking it. And it might just be that same way. I'm not going to like throw myself at Shenjita again and be like, this deck's so good. This is Shenjita. You make their hand 3 cards. Mm-hmm. It's,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Obviously, you want to, it's always nice to be able to play something that you want to play and then make it work. And I remember, during the early stages of when you were deciding what you wanted to play, before you were playing Shenron Gogeta, you played a lot of Vegeta Baby. So what made you...
we don't talk about those days.
We're not going on the record and talking about Vegeta Baby, because we all know that Vow Revenge is a really good card, but we're not going to talk about
Vow Revenge is the best card. I vowed revenge one time, and something was placed in the drop area.
Yes.
Whoa.
Listen,
it died.
It's a 0 cost extra card that blows something up. That's pretty good in my opinion. I mean,
if that card said draw a card, I'd be like so on board. If anyone's listening to this, then please tell him that Vow Revenge is a bad card. Like whenever you meet this man, you have to immediately say Vow Revenge is a bad card.
It's not. I have a foil playset just I'm gonna frame it and sign it and give it to you as a gift.
Okay.
That and Deborah, your 2 favorite cards in the game.
I'd probably give it a little kiss just before I went to bed. Just one kiss.
So moving forward, right? So we're going into set 7. There's a lot of new stuff that's coming out. There's a lot of red support. Even down the road with the gift box coming out in November, there's a lot of teased Android and baby support. Do you ever think you'll revisit that deck? Because you obviously know my opinion. I've played against you hundreds of times with that Vegeta Baby leader, and you piloted that deck better than anybody I've ever seen. I always say you're the best baby player I've ever seen. So it would be a shame for you, at least for me, and for my selfish reasons, to lose another opportunity and not watch you play that deck again. Do you think you would ever play Vegeta Baby again?
I'd play it if we got a card that searched baby pieces, because if I'm sitting here with missing pieces in my hand, I'm probably just going to cry. Like, it just makes me cry. When you're missing baby pieces and you can't do the chain and you're just sitting there with dead cards, you just start crying.
Yeah, I think that's one of the unfortunate scenarios with the baby deck, is if you don't have your 1-drop into your Union Absorb into the 4-drop in deck, you kind of go.
No, you always have the 4-drop. The 4-drop's super loyal. 4-drop's always in your hand.
But you never have the one. So the problem is getting the 1-drop then.
The problem is the 4-drop's in your hand and it's supposed to be in your deck. That's the joke I'm making.
So then
that's
as far as like that support that's coming out in November, if Bandai came to you and said, "Okay, Graham, we want you to develop a card that's going to help Baby, that's going to support the archetype," what would you design? Would it be a battle card? Would it be an extra card? Would it shuffle something back? What would it do?
Maybe like a 2 or 3-drop battle card that puts a 4-drop back and draws a card, or maybe searches a baby piece and then recycles 4-drop. Something's got to put the 4-drop back in the deck. It's got to be in the deck. That's it.
So that's the problem with the deck then, is just having the 4-drop in hand.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it's definitely possible. I don't see it not being possible. I mean, giving Baby the ability to recycle the 4-drop back into the deck might be a little strong, just because that chain is so effective and so good at what it does, and then you're sitting on a 30k ape that's essentially going to interact with your opponent's board the minute they play something. So hopefully it's good. I mean,
I didn't say you were the one that said Bandai was going to come to me for a card.
I mean, hypothetically speaking, yeah. I mean, if they came to you and you had to pick and choose what you were going to do, yeah, that's totally fine. I mean, from what you described, though, it doesn't sound anything like it's anything broken. It's just, I think that going that chain is so effective, right? The 1-drop, you absorb something, you go into the 4-drop, you draw a card. You go into the 5-drop for free, you draw a card, and then you go into the 6-drop, and then you just control the board with the 30k ape. Obviously, you have to worry about the clapback because there's a lot of spot removal right now in the meta, but for the most part, anything that your opponent tries to do to you, they're going to lose, whether it's a battle card, like if it's Banish or Fu, which probably becomes the most effective way of getting rid of, spot removal, that's still going to get hit by, the ape's effect. So it's going to be interesting to see if they give something to that archetype to make it a little more overtuned, but it's a solid archetype. I mean, I remember when the power boosters first came out, everybody was going crazy over Path to Greatness, but, you were just trying to pick up the baby stuff because going into that chain was crazy. And then you can play the deck 2 different ways. You can play it aggressive early and just kind of swing with all these double strikers, because the 4-drop's a double striker, the 5-drop's a double striker, and then the golden ape is a triple striker. Just you're sitting with all this advantage here, and you're just constantly just swinging back and forth. Or you can play it passively depending on your matchups and just kind of go with it that way. That's why I really hope that they give you a card that's going to pique your interest again, because I would really love to see you play that deck again. That's just me being selfish, but whatever. I mean, I guess we're moving forward at this point. Your baby days are over for now. But speaking of Set 7 currently, besides obviously what you're currently playing or what you're currently tweaking with, is there anything that's piquing your interest so far with Set 7 from what we've had revealed?
Nothing good, but I don't play good decks.
So that's why I'm asking you. Like, is there anything that you're... Obviously, it's not good. We all know how you feel about Zamasu and Goku Black, so I'm sure you're probably...
Please. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that's a low blow, dude. Come on, dude.
I'm sure
why you gotta hurt me like that?
I'm sure the dream is still there, but right now, like, whether it's untap or whatever it is, just theory crafting, with the team, like, what is it that you're looking forward to building first out of Set 7?
If I were rich, I'd play Demigra. That deck looks like really good. Why
do you have to be rich to play Demigra, though?
Come on.
Anybody who's in this community knows why you have to be rich to play Demigod. It's why you have to be rich to play any black deck.
I don't think
Don't insult your viewers' intelligence, Adrian.
I don't think you need time regulator Vegetas for Demigra. I really don't. I really don't think you need time.
Really don't.
No.
Are we going to have this conversation right now?
Yeah, I mean, let's do it, right? I don't.
In front of all these viewers, we're going to have this conversation?
Yes.
Because, like, let's go, bro. Start some.
Okay,
I'll match you punch for punch, bro.
Okay, so my theory is Demigra draws enough to the point where it doesn't need a secondary draw engine. What makes Time Regulator Vegeta good is the fact that, as far as Toa is concerned, she doesn't have a draw engine. She doesn't do anything. She doesn't swing and draw. She only draws one when she awakens and untaps. She has no, like, activate main once per turn, draw a card. So Time Regulator in that deck is essentially its only draw engine. So in Demigra, it's totally different. Demigra swings when Demigra draws when he swings on both sides, and he has access to overwhelm cards.
So let me get this straight, Adrian, and we're gonna put this all together in a nice, pretty picture for you.
Yeah,
you're saying that because Demigra draws cards, you would not want to draw more cards.
That's not what I said.
That's what we're putting together.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said, though. I'm saying that it's not necessary because Demigra has capability of drawing on its own. Toa has no draw power. So that card becomes now detrimental to that deck. So basically, if you take Toa and you take Demigra, Toa cannot function without Time Regulator. Demigra can still function without Time Regulator. So I don't think it's worth the $200 to have a playset of Time Regulator in a Demigra deck, which you're probably going to be playing the Secret Rare as well, so it's going to be another $60.
You do or do not like drawing cards, Adrian?
I do like drawing cards. That's not what I'm saying.
You like drawing cards. Okay, no. But we've established that you like drawing cards.
Everybody likes drawing cards. It feels good when you draw cards.
Okay. When you have a big hand, it feels good.
It does.
So yes. It extends your plays.
Yes, it feels
because
good.
you have a big hand.
Yes, it does. It feels great doing that. But I don't think it's it's not as necessary in Demigra as it is in Toa. That's just my opinion. And
okay.
I'm not going to go shell out. I'm definitely not going to go shell out $200 for a playset of a champion pack card. That's probably going to die in price.
Because we're not rich.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. That doesn't make any sense. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? When I can build a mono black Demigra deck without time regulators, and it would still probably be just as good without them. What's time regulators?
You hate drawing cards.
No, I don't hate drawing cards. It's just going to draw you an extra card. That's really
an extra 2 cards.
It could
if you have multiples.
Yeah, it could if you're going to commit that much to the board. 2 time regulators, sure. Yeah, it can draw you 2 cards.
That's a lot of drawing cards. Don't you like drawing cards, Adrian?
I love drawing cards. Drawing cards feel. That's why I love playing deck builder. But that's good news. That's good news.
That's good news.
But okay, so Demigra. I mean, I saw you. We were talking about Demigra today, obviously in the chat. But we were playing a couple days ago. We were testing on Untap.
Oh, you want to talk about that deck?
I want to talk about that.
Is that
deck.
what you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the spice. I want to talk about that deck because obviously
that silly sod.
It wasn't bad though. It was actually good.
I mean, all right.
You were onto something.
It was good, except I cheated like 7 times because I don't know how that works.
You just can't run multicolored cards if you're going to try to resolve, the Broly, SS3 Broly, and obviously the surprise attack freezes didn't work. But for the most part, everything else seemed pretty fine.
So the context, because he didn't say, is I was playing a set 1 Broly deck with the new support, and it was green-red, and I wasn't trying to even get the new Broly card off. Like, it's tap 4 effect. I wasn't trying to do that. And that deck is like, okay, except, again, I don't really know how things work, so did you guys hear I got runner-up at Atlantic City? You guys heard that, right?
Dude, I think people are going to be like, this is the guy who got second place? Like, what the hell is going on?
Dude, I'm great at this game. Come on, like... I play cards sometimes.
Like I said, before we got a little off topic there, I think you have something there, at least with that Broly deck. I think you have a shell. I think you should work on it, man. I mean, I think it's good. I think it could be good. I really think it could be good.
I'll do that.
sometimes, maybe.
I think it could be good. I mean, yeah, everybody's
At Level 1 Games.
Yes.
Shout out to David.
Shout out to David.
Level 1 Games.
The fastest growing Dragon Ball Super community in New Jersey.
Whoa. That's too far. Have you been to Game On?
I you know what? I think, if I'm not mistaken, I heard from somebody that they're going out of business.
Are they?
Yeah, I heard. Who told me? I forgot who told me, but
This is a great topic for the podcast,
Yeah,
by the way.
if
All you
there's-
viewers
if-
that know where we're talking about.
if anybody is listening to this podcast that is familiar with Game On, which is a hobby shop in Clifton, New Jersey, it's just a couple people off the top of my head: Jesse, Paul, TJ, Ian. I think that's the only people that I know from there. If you guys know what's going on with Game On, please reach out to me. I would really love to find out what happened, because I remember going to Game On years ago when I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And it was it was probably the best, if not one of the best areas or stores to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, because at the time you had Game On, you had Gamers Gambit in Saddlebrook, and you had Gamers Grotto, which I think was in Lyndhurst or Hasbrook Heights, one of those towns. But there weren't that many locations, and then I think Grotto closed down, and they opened up Gamer's Edge in Kearney, that was the spot for a while. Gamer's Edge was a really great store to go and play, but they all closed down. Game On's been open for such a long time. You've gone to Game On before, right?
Yeah, dude, everyone's been to Game On. It's the fastest growing community in New Jersey.
Yeah, for every TCG, not just Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, of course.
Well, it sucks. I forgot who I was talking to about it, actually. I think we were talking about it at Level 1. It must have been somebody from Level 1 that brought up a conversation that, they haven't been doing well. They haven't been opening or something like that. I mean, I don't know. Again, if anybody's listening and they know anything about Game On, just please reach out. I'd love to get to the bottom of it, just to figure, because it's, at the end of the day, it's one less place we have to go to. I mean, we've tried, and we've had this conversation before. I've been trying to get more stores or more, locals going for Dragon Ball. Right now, we have Mondays and Tuesdays that are consistent, sometimes Thursdays, and then obviously Toy Wiz is on Friday, but that's in upstate New York. Maybe not upstate, but it's in New York. And we tried, or at least I tried, to get a couple other places getting ready to go, and specifically one of them was New World Manga. Now, I know you're familiar with New World Manga because it's like the next town over from where you live. So, I mean, you know what? And I should have listened to you because you had a lot more experience with the store than I did. You gave me fair warning that it wasn't going to pop off, but I decided to try it anyway, and it just didn't go anywhere. It's like it's weird to me, like, why? I had everything.
You know what it is? They are not Dragon Ball players.
I guess. But then
The locals that we have that work are Dragon Ball player locals.
I guess
They have Dragon Ball players that work in the store.
I guess that makes a little bit of sense. But I mean, that's fine. I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, wouldn't you want your store to do well? Wouldn't you want your store to carry a very popular game? Right, at least right now. I mean, it's pretty hot right now. Wouldn't you want to try to, if anything, for business reasons, try to, ride the coattails for a little bit just to try to get a little more business out of it? I don't know. That's just me. I guess I'm just thinking it based off numbers and dollars and cents and stuff like that. But it was literally like, I had a plan. It was like, I put the plan out for him. I was like, hey, listen, do this, 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 and this, and we'll be good. And it was just like, yeah, well, whatever. It kind of was just like, and I don't like to waste people's time, nor do I like to waste my own. So I got the hint, one, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. I don't let it get to twice. But then I tried Time Warp, which is a pretty popular store too, Time Warp Comics in Cedar Grove, New Jersey. But I still haven't heard back from those guys. I just don't know if that's going to work either. And it might be like what you said. It might just not be a Dragon Ball store. It might just be something else that's affecting it. But listen, it is what it is. I just want to get to the point where everybody in the community has somewhere to go to on days that are convenient for them. Right now, like we were talking about, Mondays and Tuesdays seem to be the most consistent days of the week where people are going to play Dragon Ball, which is great. But there's nothing going on Wednesdays. There's nothing going on Thursdays, really. That's like concrete. And then Friday, if you want to go play Dragon Ball, you got to go up to Toy Wiz, which is fine. Toy Wiz is not that far from where we are anyway, but for others it might be a little further. So I just want to get to the point where you can just go to a Dragon Ball local every day, because it'll help the game sustain itself, and you'll get new players in the community. Hopefully that happens. But anyway, so my next question to you, Mr. Maxwell, is, are you going to the upcoming Philly event?
Yes.
That means yes.
And that does mean yes. Thanks for clarifying.
Is that a regional? Is that an AR? Who's the TO behind that? PPG?
Honestly, have no actual idea. But I'm gonna go with PPG. PPG sounds like the right one.
Okay, PPG sounds like the right one. You guys got everything all settled out and worked out as far as transportation and stuff like that too, right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Well, that's good. Hopefully,
maybe
so it's good because you performed well at a recent event. It's good to get back out there and see kind of like where you stack up. But just you're gonna have a target on your back now, man. I hope you're ready for that.
Why? I don't want it there.
People are gonna chip on their shoulders, dude. Like you got second place at the ARG Invitational. Like people are gonna be gunning for that. I know I would. I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna beat this guy.
I mean, if you sit down against an opponent and you don't want to beat them, that'd be strange.
Yes, I understand that, but what I'm saying is there's going to be an added level. There's going to be like an added level.
Yeah, I'm going to psych them out. I'm going to sit them down and be like, I don't know you, and you probably don't even know me. But did you hear that I got runner-up at ARG Atlantic City?
You should just get a mat and just print like a picture of yourself with like 2 thumbs up, and just, did you hear that I got runner-up at ARG Atlantic City Invitational? I could get that printed for you, no problem.
There, and anyone can top. That's the takeaway from this podcast. Anyone can top an event.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, for your specific situation, you made a right call.
Because Adrian, better than anyone how bad I am.
No,
like,
man,
come on.
You're not bad. You're not a bad player. But listen, you made a really good meta call. Your deck was fine-tuned, tweaked. You had a lot of testing. You had the right tech options mainboarded, and you played it out well, man. Like, you did a really good job. Like, I don't want you to take anything away from yourself. You did really well, and we're super proud of you to be there with you. I mean, Kevin did well too. Shout out to Kevin.
You're actually just patting me on the shoulder, and I'm just messing with you the whole time.
Yeah, I know, but still, I want to reassure you that it is all good. And
well, that's good.
Kevin just bubbled out of top 16.
Consider my ego thoroughly tickled.
Good. I'm glad I was able to tickle your ego. I'm glad I was able to do that for you. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. You're so distracting, dude. I can't stay focused.
Sorry, I know I'm too handsome.
Are you there?
I'm still there.
Oh, okay, good.
Still here?
Yeah,
there?
I just want to make sure your mic doesn't cut out, because I've had issues with that before, and I want to make sure that doesn't happen.
Oh, okay.
So
it's still here.
We're approaching the hour mark here. We're about 45 minutes in, so I'm going to start wrapping it up. Just got a couple questions for you before we get you out of here. I think the biggest thing for me is our team, right? So our team, the Counter Club at No Counters, No Combos, right? So I started the team, just me. It was me, Brian, Kevin, Enrique, and our teammate Giovanni down in Florida. Shout out to Giovanni. And we were looking to put two more members on the team, right? So me and Brian started to go to level 1, and we started talking to you guys, you and David. And we noticed you guys are good players. David has a great mind for the game. He's really good at deck building. He has a lot of off the wall ideas that always seem to work. And then you were just really good technical playing and stuff like that. So when I offered you the to be on the team. And full, disclaimer, we're not like a pro team where we're getting paid salaries and stuff like that to play cards. It's literally, when you say the word team, it's literally just a group of friends that play the game together, have conversations on a regular basis, bounce ideas off of each other. That's what the team is. Did you feel any like oh, like, who is this guy? Like, who does this guy think he is? Offer me a spot on his team, blah, blah, blah. Or were you, like, excited to join? Because I always feel like I don't ever want to come across arrogant, or I don't ever want to come across, like, too forthcoming to people, because obviously this is everything that we do here is for fun. There's really no tangibility to it. But at the same time, like, I wanted to put a good group of people together that I could rely on as well for testing and for ideas and stuff like that. So I just kind of want to ask, because I've never asked anybody before, whether it's Brian or Kevin or anybody, I've never asked them, how did you feel about being on a, quote unquote, Dragon Ball team?
I didn't really take it that seriously. Like, you were the one that sat me down and was like, look, this is not a team. Like, you gave me what you just gave the viewers. That it's not a big deal or a big, like, professional scene. So, like, I didn't really care. I wasn't, like, flustered or angry. I don't know what you want me to say.
No.
What do I say here?
No, that's fine. I just wanted to get your thought process behind it, because I know there are other people in the community who have been on teams and sponsorships and stuff like that. Sometimes it gets a little trepidatious, or it gets a little awkward when it comes to things that are promised and not delivered. So I wanted to just kind of be as transparent as possible. I was not in a position to give compensation for you guys to what's the word I'm looking for? What is the word that I'm looking for? I wasn't in a position to essentially pay you guys to represent, I guess, my YouTube channel, because obviously it started off where it was just me on my own. I didn't know anybody, and now it's kind of grown into this thing where I've met you, I've met David, I've met Brian, Kevin, I've met people in the community, and it all started with this one little thing here. And it might sound cheesy, it might sound corny, but I really do enjoy, doing videos and doing these podcasts and doing stuff for the community and for myself. And this is kind of like my little baby here. So, like, I might treat it a little more seriously, or I might be over the top about things, or I might, like, be like, oh, putting effort into something that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But I just wanted to be as upfront with you guys as possible, that I didn't want you to expect something that I wasn't going to be able to deliver. So when it comes to anybody that's involved with our team here, I wanted to make sure that was understood. And eventually, if it gets to that point, I would love to be able to do stuff, financially for everybody on the team, but we're just not there yet. So I'm, basically, long story short, I'm glad that, you and David decided to come on board, with us, because, we have a lot of fun, aside from, all the serious stuff about us, getting ready for Atlantic City and these major events and stuff. We still have fun on a regular basis. We see each other. I see you guys all the time. You're like a second family, which is really great. And I just want to thank you for, being a part of the journey and so on and so forth. And, becoming a really good friend of mine in the past few months. I really do appreciate that.
Aww.
Oh yeah, that was a little over the top, right?
Yeah, no, I felt that, bro. That was from the heart.
Yeah, I mean,
I love you. I love you too. That's wow.
Well, I appreciate.
We should hug it out. We definitely need to hug this out.
Air hugs, just air hugs.
Air hugs.
Air hugs. Okay, cool.
We're hugging right now.
So, again, thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for putting the faith in me and stuff, and listening to me babble about certain things or whatnot. I could be totally wrong, but thank you also for always. The one thing I really respect about you is you always play to win. There was one time where we were playing against each other at level 1. You were playing Baby, and I forget what deck I was playing. I think I was playing a Wish deck, and there was a misplay on my part. You had a ape baby on board. It was my turn. I was just drawing for turn charging, and I played Crisis Crusher for free without tapping the energy to proc your ape, right? So I put it to the drop area, whatever, and then I went on to the rest of my play, and basically the whole turn passed, and we kind of just we realized a little too late that Crisis Crusher costs 1 energy to play. It's not for free. And you were like, I don't want to be, an ass about it, but, I'm trying to win, so to speak. And I really, even though to some people it might seem petty, at that time I was like, you know what, this guy, he's got a competitive edge to him that I really respect, and I hope that that's going to take him somewhere in the future with his game. And you were able to get second place at the ARG Invitational this past summer. So that's my favorite.
Which place did I get again?
You got runner-up. You got runner-up at the ARG Invitational.
Oh, yeah?
In Atlantic City. That's my favorite Graham Maxwell memory, because that was before. Oh, before.
But what about Vow Revenge, though?
Oh, but that's just classic, though. But everybody knows that, because that was physically.
Yeah, everybody knows that one clip from that one video.
Everybody knows that was physically seen. I'm talking about sentimental memories here. That was before we were even on the same team. I was just like, oh, this guy's a good player and he's taking this seriously, and I appreciate that because I'm a competitor as well, and I'm competitive all the time, and I don't like to lose. I mean, I like to lose in certain aspects because I learn a lot from it, but for the most part, I don't want to lose. So I appreciate that that's just a little tidbit from my memories with you, Mr. Maxwell. But all good things have to come to an end, so we're gonna get ready to wrap up here. Before we get going, if you guys do end up going to Philly, I wish you guys luck, and I hope you guys have a safe trip. But before we get out of here, are there any shout-outs that you'd like to give to anybody in the community?
Oh, obviously I have to shout out Adrian and the No Counters, No Combos. I wish he were here tonight, honestly.
Oh, man. Shout out to David. David.
Oh, David at Level 1 Games. Yeah. We didn't shout him out tonight either. We have to do that again.
Yeah, he just deserves all the shout-outs. David, shout out to Brian, Kevin.
We are literally going to shout his name tonight, out of nowhere.
We're going to go on the rooftop and just shout out David. And then I'm probably going to get a noise complaint because my town...
David at Level 1 Games.
That's right. I'm probably going to get a noise complaint because my town is like that. But shout out to... A minor shout out to Enrique. Just minor. Because he wasn't able to go to the Atlantic City event. Just a little tiny... Not a shout out, really. Just more like a yelp to Enrique. But for the most part, that's pretty much it, man. This podcast was very different from the ones I usually do, but in all honesty, it's been a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of laughs, and sometimes
that's good.
Yeah, sometimes I'm
glad I could contribute to that.
Yeah, I appreciate that because sometimes I have a Google Doc open in front of me with a whole bunch of questions and bullet points, and I try to be as professional as possible. But it was nice just shooting the shit with you and having a conversation and making it as easygoing as possible. I really do appreciate it.
Everybody knows we're not professional now.
Of course, exactly. We're just having fun playing a children's card game, and we're overpaying for overpriced cardboard at this time. But I did have a lot of fun.
That's a time regulator. Yeah,
exactly. Which I'm not going to get into it again. It's a good card. It's not needed in certain situations, but I'm not paying $200 for it. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But for those of you listening, sometimes it's all about having fun with your boys, and that's what we did tonight. So take it or leave it. Hopefully, most of you enjoy it. For those of you that don't, hey, there's always going to be an episode next week for you to enjoy anyway. So. We're going to get on out of here. Thanks again, Graham, for what you do here, and again, for your continuing success in Dragon Ball Super. And for those of you listening, thank you for the continued support. We really do appreciate it here at No Counters, No Combos. But we're going to get on out of here. We will talk to you guys next week. Be there or be squared.